Roguelikes have been around for decades. The genre itself was taken from Rogue, a role-playing video game based on the popular Dungeons & Dragons RPG games. Some of the key features of early roguelike games included using random dungeon generation to increase replayability, using permadeath mechanics, and using turn-based gameplay. There are many other factors which I won't go through in this particular video, but there is a link to the wiki page if you're interested just below. In this video specifically, I take a look at the more newer genre of games following roguelike protocols but incorporating their own little spins. This means when I say roguelike, I am looking at a more modern interpretation of the word rather than the 80s and 90s interpretation. These are, in my opinion, the 5 of the best co-op roguelikes or roguelites in the current market. Just to point this out, there are many beautiful games out there, but I'm only looking at the ones with solid co-op incorporated within the game, so you can enjoy the thrill of dying endlessly in each of these games with your friends. And of course, these are my opinions only, so feel free to leave a comment if you think I missed a game that has awesome co-op, as I would love to hear it, and especially if I haven't played it, that's even a bonus for me. So let's get into it. Vagante, in my opinion, is super underrated. It's an action RPG roguelike adventure that features permanent death, and obviously procedurally generated levels. It's a wonderful player co-op, but in my opinion the sweet spot is around the 2-3 mark. The replayability of this game is superb. I haven't met many games where I enjoy replaying over and over again, but the game's procedurally generated levels as mentioned, and vastly different build paths make the game super enjoyable. The game definitely does not handhold you at all, and when you first start the game and you enter your first dungeon, you just don't know what's going on, and your death probably is going to hit in your first minute. Although this game's single player is as fun, because I did play it as well, I think the co-op is one of the few elements that this roguelike gets right. Yes, monsters scale in health. Yes, some might complain that you might not get enough loot to share with the team, but I never had this issue. The advantage of playing with a team is you can use teamwork. As a mage, you can help enchant other weapons. As a rogue, you can scout ahead. So even if you're not getting the benefits of playing a single player game, you're getting the benefits of having a team. The game itself balances quite well, and definitely rewards good teamwork, but punishes those who are selfish and do not think of what team comp to go with. Many of the game bosses have specific patterns and ways to defeat them for every class, and I think having this element can be difficult to implement in a roguelike dungeon game, but Vagante does this quite well. The only question I have over this game is the developer support. Although the developers have mentioned they're no longer working on this game, more recently, there seems to be rekindled interest as there being activity in the Discord channel, and so I think the game might be seeing some extra updates soon. Risk of Rain 2 is a sequel to the wildly popular game Risk of Rain. Of course, I'm including this on the roguelike list because Risk of Rain 2 is an awesome game. It's a third-person shooter roguelike where you're tackling procedurally generated levels once again, and obviously a permadeath mechanics. Right now, the only, I think the thing I need to point out is it's an early access game, but there's so much content already that I think you shouldn't worry about this. It's a game where you can either play solo or a max team of 4 as well. It's definitely a super challenging game, and the game definitely rewards micro movements such as dodge rolling, using proper spacing, and maybe stunning mobs depending on what characters you're playing. The game also definitely rewards a good team, where you can come up with a good choice of the team composition and working with a team to come up with that. In my opinion, the only downfall is the game itself right now. In my opinion, which this is only my opinion, is it's slightly more repetitive than most other games I've played, but the gameplay is smooth, the multiplayer is super smooth, easy to connect with, and most importantly, the variety of mobs and bosses and characters is plentiful. Just to put a point of view, the current game, I think, has 9 characters or 10 characters, but it released with 6, so the game, the devs are working on it hard. So if you're worried about if it's an early access game, I don't think you need to worry about it. I think you just get it, in my opinion. Children of Morta. This game is an awesome and unique roguelike that I'm including on this list. It's a 2-player game, so if you do play with 3 to 4 people, you probably can't play this game, so I would recommend if you're playing with 4 people, just split off and just play the game, because it's an awesome roguelike. One of the unique elements this game includes that other roguelikes don't usually include is an awesome story. Yes, a lot of roguelikes these days, if you look at the previous 2, it's all about the gameplay mechanics. You don't really play it for the story. This story is 5 out of 5. Just to give like one liner, you're following the story of the Bergson family. Everyone kind of has a different ability in terms of like if you're a warrior, archer, mage, blah blah blah. And you're pretty much trying to defend this kind of from this evil force called the corruption. That's the basic of the story. But trust me, the story gets a lot deeper than that. The game's ambiences and the graphics are just simply beautiful as well, so if you're really into that, then that's a tick in the box as well. As you progress through the game, you unlock characters pretty quickly, so it's much more earlier than other roguelikes that kind of like, for example, Risk of Rain 2, which you got to do a lot in order to unlock characters. In this game, you definitely unlock the characters earlier. The reason is because the game has a fatigue factor. The more you play a character, the more penalties you get for playing him, and so you're forced to rotate and play other characters, which is an awesome mechanic, by the way. The only problem with the co-op in this game right now is it's only playable with either like a LAN setting or a couch co-op setting, so you have to use, like, for example, a tool like Parsec, which is awesome, by the way, that to play the game. Parsec is awesome. I've played it myself. I've tested it. It definitely works. You don't really get any lag, so try it out if you want to use it. The game is implementing online co-op, so if you want to wait on that, to go ahead and wait as well. Heroes of Hammerwatch is set in the Hammerwatch universe. This is another game we should probably check out, but I'm just doing Heroes of Hammerwatch because I think it's a more polished version of the game. This roguelike action RPG adventure game focuses on your standard dungeon RPG elements. Also the fact that it has a home base to help you upgrade as you progress the game. The game itself has a huge learning curve, and what is refreshing is the game doesn't really help you, but provides you enough resources to allow you to figure things on your own. You definitely do get stronger as the game progresses, so the game in the beginning is definitely not easy. It has a lot of playability. You've got 7 playable characters, all offering unique gameplay. I really enjoy the game's ability to customize the characters to how you want to play it, but also the fact that the town becomes effectively your home base, and you can actually go into your own world and customize your characters and then come back into your friends' worlds and then play the game together. This is what makes the game fun. I think the co-op is done quite well in this game. I've had no issues with the co-op gameplay, and my mates love the game. It's super fun to fail the game together, but also progress the game together. Connection is really easy, just connect with your Steam and you're good to go, so definitely check out this game if you haven't. Roguelikes is the last on the list, and it's a great one. Although it doesn't have a story like Children of Morta, it's an awesome one to play with friends. The game has many races to unlock, each with its own unique attribution, combination. So what I mean by this is, for example, if you have strength and faith, and you unlock a character or race that has those 2 attributes, as you level up your character, you can only get stats in those 2 attributes. So the game promotes you unlocking new races and finding new combinations. The game itself is super fun, and the whole point of it is you're tailoring your character to what you basically want the game, or the playstyle you want. So if you're gunner heavy, then using guns, but then there are a lot more guns in that category. So you got cannons, you got rifles, etc. So the whole game is very focused around customizing your character and upgrading your armor and stuff like that. So if you're into that, then this game's perfect for you. The game uses 2D side-scrolling features with very smooth combat, so not your typical 2D side-scrolling RPGs. The game itself has a way to make it more difficult as well, so if you're looking for a more challenging experience, you're able to do so. The only 2 downsides is 1, the lack of developer support, and 2, the multiplayer is slightly annoying to kind of put together, but it's still pretty easy. There are a lot of guides on it, and I can obviously link you to those guides if you just leave a comment below. So there you have it. We went through 5 co-op roguelike games out there. Please feel free to leave a comment if you have any other games which I haven't mentioned. I'm a big fan of roguelikes, both solo and co-op games, so just leave a comment, and yeah, see you next time.